Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of ABA with Vic. Now before we begin with this week's video, go ahead and click the subscribe button so that every week you can get weekly updates of ABA with Vic. Now as I'm filming this video, a holiday is approaching, and this holiday is Halloween. So for this week's topic, we're going to talk about social stories. Hey guys, welcome back to ABA with Vic. Now with social stories, the object of these stories are to teach a social skill. You can create these stories for any type of vocation. Generally with social stories, you are telling the child a story about what they're supposed to do. Time for ABA with Vic pop quiz. What type of antecedent based strategy is social stories? A. Literature, B. Priming, C. Reactive, or D. Consequence? The answer for this question is B. Priming. In a way, social stories are priming because you're alerting the individual what to do in certain locations. Now, as I said it before, social stories are something that you can come up with. Either if you're an educator, a staff, or a parent, you can create these stories. Let's say that you want your child to learn and remember to put their folder away when the student comes to class. It doesn't have to be a legitimate story, but something that you can come up. You can either write it, print it, or even just say it verbally. Now again, with the example of having the child put away their folder at the beginning of class, it could go something like this. At the beginning of the day, when Tommy goes to school and goes to class, Tommy takes out his folder from his backpack. Tommy then puts his folder on teacher's desk so that the teacher can see his folder. By doing this, Tommy is making the teacher happy because Tommy is doing what he's supposed to do. Tommy is supposed to put his backpack away and put his folder on the teacher's desk. And then Tommy can have a great day at school. So basically this would be a social story. You're telling the child what to do in certain occasions. You can create several different social stories. For toileting, to brushing their teeth, to greetings. The point of social stories is to teach individuals social skills. This is why these are called social stories, because the student is learning some type of social skill. It could be very simple or it could be very complex as well. But when creating these types of social stories, make sure it is appropriate for the child. You don't want to make it too simple and have the child miss the point, or you don't want to make it too complex that the child is not able to comprehend. If you're an educator and you're typing and creating these social stories, you want to have these stories be generalized for the other students so that you could use it with multiple students, not just one. Let's say that you have a student whose name is actually Tommy. You don't want to just point out in the story that Tommy is going to do this because you're targeting the student. And I mean targeting not in a negative way, but you're emphasizing that Tommy should be doing this. So if you're teaching this skill to other students, they're going to assume that you're just talking about Tommy. Choose a different name for this character in this story. If you have a student or a child that has a difficult time transitioning to different locations, you could also have social stories. You can tell the students that when they go to school, they're supposed to work in different workstations so that they know that they're going to be transitioning between the classes or the different activities throughout the day. If you want to teach your child how to appropriately greet someone in public, you can use a social story. And also, to make sure that the student is learning while you're teaching them, ask them questions. You could ask them follow-up questions and say, what did you learn about this story? What should you do in certain situations? What should we not do in certain situations? So that the student or child knows what to do and what not to do. Asking questions is a great way to make sure that the student knows what they're supposed to do. If they don't know, then you could go over the story again. Now that will be all for this week. This week we went over social skills. And as I stated before at the beginning of this week's video, because Halloween is coming up, you could also create social stories about what to expect in the community. You could talk about Halloween and why there are ghosts and zombies out there, but also how there's vampires and princesses and superheroes. You can teach the child how to appropriately behave in these social occasions. Another way that you can integrate social story in Halloween, for example, is to have social interactions. You can teach the child to appropriately give compliments. Now that will be all for this week. If you have any questions or comments, please email me at abawithvic@gmail.com or tweet me at abawithvic. And also on Facebook at abawithvic. Now that will be all for this week. Remember to make this week amazing. And as always, thank you for watching.